All right, guys, welcome to game two of the first set that we have tonight. White Wolf winning a very exciting, very close game there against Take the Lantern, and we'll see if Take the Lantern can swing it back around here coming up in game two. So, other than just the absolute insane level of excitement and hype we got from watching that game, what are your thoughts on that previous game there, Truffle?
I just it was such a good comeback story, and I couldn't make up my mind who I wanted to root for more. Both teams played excellent games, and the team fighting is definitely in both teams' strong suits. Those were some fantastic games that we saw.
Yeah, definitely. And it was really good to actually see, that Kenton come out and get some work done so we can kind of get an idea why they wanted to ban it out in the first place and then kind of let it through. So we'll see if they let the top laner get it this next time or not. I would be surprised, honestly, if they let with those massive stuns that Gotta Get Lucky was able to put down.
Yeah, that Team White Wolf needs to address that somehow. To ban it or whatever. Those flank stuns brought Team Take the Lantern back into the game so drastically. I'd be shocked if they just let it happen.
Yeah, a lot of those stuns coming out too. The thing I love the most about playing multiple games in a row and not just one and dones is that then you get to see the knee jerk bans. You see the people going, "Oh, I don't want to play against Vagar again." Just ban him out right away, and see how a little bit more of that passion comes into the bans than just simply going based on kind of your gut or what players like to do.
Right. No plan survives contact with the enemy. Right.
Right.
So we'll see what audibles either team ends up making.
Yeah, most definitely. We're getting just a little bit wrapping up just a little bit more of that break there. Waiting for one last player to get into the game before we start going. But it'll also be cool just to see a little bit more of the adaption side of it, because we've seen how it worked out in game one. We saw how the rotations and the warding and all that sort of stuff looked, and we'll see if the teams try to be more aggressive, especially just because the game was so intense. Maybe one team will go for something a little more cheesy this time just to try to make the game end a little bit quicker.
Right. Right. And speaking of games that and oh
Looks like we had a little bit of a lag issue there, so we'll have to wait to get that addressed. Maybe we'll have to change the name of these teams to Teams Technical Difficulties. Doesn't quite roll off
yeah
the tongue as well as White Wolf Gaming, but
yeah game two attempt four.
a little bit of a shuffling there, but they'll get that sorted out really quick.
Oh. Unfortunately, this is a blind match.
Oh,
That's my bad.
oh, okay, all right. So it looks like we'll just have to reshuffle. That's fine.
There we go. I'll just make the new game.
No, there we go. We
There
got
we go.
Gotta Get Lucky. Did it. Perfect.
Beautiful. Well,
Well, I sent you that invite, so we'll get you in here.
that's all good.
All right, excellent. So while we're waiting for that to quickly get back together, it'll be really interesting, especially for me, to see how the battles in the mid lane go. If the champion selection ends up being different, we did see that the support there for Take the Lantern was really looking to play Lulu the first game,
Right.
and then switched over to Nami instead. So we'll see what sort of plan, if any, they have for that Lulu, or if they'll decide to go back to the Nami. And if they do go back to the Nami, I mean, those team fights, like we were saying earlier, or at least just the skirmishes in the bot lane, were really close early on. A couple of hit points one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And the constant healing, the disengage, the engage, that Nami was everywhere. I actually love that adaptation because it wasn't forced out by a change in bans or anything. It was just that Tilted Snorlax decided that she wanted to be on Nami.
hmm And it could have maybe had a little bit of an impact, because I mean there wasn't really anyone in their team to do Lulu's buff to just really shake things up. At least not in my understanding of Lulu. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but it's just great to see those sorts of changes and imagine the what ifs, and that's again why I love having a second game, because now we'll get to see what the what ifs are.
Exactly, and even if they do ban Nami, then we know that Tilted Snorlax has this Lulu that is already queued up, ready to go.
Most definitely. Well, here we go into the ban phase, and I'm sure we're going to see some similar picks. Yeah, getting that Sona and that Anivia out there right away. Worth noting to our viewers, because of the switch up with the jungle at the last minute there, Take the Lantern is supposed to be suffering a penalty ban, where they will not be able to ban a champion in the second round of bans, just to make up for the sake of balance, for changing up game plans at the last minute. So we'll see how that impacts what champion they end up having to let slip through because of that impact to their bans.
Exactly, and it is only one ban, and it is the final ban, so it could be a much more significant balancing issue, but as it is one misban. So.
Plus, for those of you who've been playing League of Legends for a long time, you'll remember that it was only 3 bans until relatively recently. So
and there's that Kennen ban.
Yep. Get that cannon out of there. Goodbye. Letting the cane through, though. Will be interesting to see if they take advantage of that.
Right, and I've got my sides mixed up. Yeah, so our sub jungler has the choice for first pick. So let's see if they prioritize that cane. What do they prioritize?
Sajwani again. Really love to see her get more of that CC, and of course she was rocking a lot of those team fights.
Exactly. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Right, exactly. Seemed to work out well the first time, especially how close the game was. But it seems as though White Wolf is playing the very same kind of game, taking Caitlyn and Leona for their bot lane.
Yeah, exactly. I guess both teams subscribe to the same philosophy. But, I don't expect the series to be remade entirely. In fact, Kennen's missing, so a couple of the key and Shogath, actually. Look at that, another knee-jerk reaction.
I'd actually be interested to see if they pick up the Malzahar here, because they know they don't want Gotta Get Lucky to have it top lane. We know White Wolf's been trying to stop that from happening. So if they pick up the Malzahar, not only would it possibly be a top lane, but it could also work as their mid laner.
Yeah, they can keep it as a flex in case they don't like it on either side.
Yeah, so I mean, that'd be really interesting to see, and I would actually be really excited to see Take the Lantern do that for this second game.
I almost hope that they hear you, right? I mean,
ooh, switch to Vel'Koz at the last second. Well, Vel'Koz also has some of that flexibility. That could be a mid or a support Vel'Koz.
And as can Karma. Interesting pick and ban. Let's see if they lock it in. But I love the idea of flex. Oh wait, Karma can't be a support. We have Leona.
Yeah. Well, Leona jungle. Let's go.
Yeah.
Alright, so we have a Karma mid then, and there goes the Malzahar. Oh, that's unfortunate. So now they have to decide if they do want the Vel'Koz up against the Karma, or if they like the Vel'Koz's ability to do some knockups and slows bot lane enough with the Tristana. That would be a very squishy bot lane up against a rather aggressive possible team, as they've seen of Leona and Caitlyn.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a knife's edge.
Alright, so here's the ban they're skipping, I'm guessing. Excellent.
Let's see.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what the last 2
Oh.
bans coming out are.
Gotcha. Certainly the team slowed down. If you remember the first pick and ban phase, that was Lightning, and I mean the original one, not even the remake or anything like that. I like that both teams are taking their time to really figure out what they want to pick and ban.
And there's the remembering that the Lulu was a preferential pick in the first game, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting that they didn't ban the Nami. They'd rather face that same Nami than deal with the potential.
Well, I mean, don't forget, White Wolf did win bot lane, technically, with the help of some good rotations and just overall first blood
A woman's
picks.
left unsatisfied.
So we'll have to see. They just are showing that extreme confidence. Even if they're against a Tristana this time and not a Lucian, I think they're confident enough to win the bot lane that they're not too worried about a Nami coming out again. But we'll see if it does.
Yeah, that is an incredibly strong early game bot lane coming out of Team White Wolf. It's no surprise that it was able to hit so hardly, and especially against Tristana, who is going to come online a little bit later in the game. Uh, I think what Team White Wolf, no, sorry, what Team Take the Lantern should be looking for here is a very safe support. And Nami can be that.
Yeah, Nami can definitely be safe. And Rek'Sai coming out again also for the jungle there for White Wolf, so obviously reasonable initiation, good knockups. Definitely a strong character as long as he doesn't get executed in the jungle. Oops, I brought it up again.
Don't worry, we haven't talked about Arcane Soda yet.
Yeah, it's fine. Oh, and a Malphite. Alright, so a little bit of a tankier team. Um, Definitely got a lot of initiation again. And Malphite will also be really good at being able to get behind and do crazy things. But it looks like, speaking of crazy things, looks like we're going to get a Nasus. Oh, this is going to
Oh boy.
this is going to be really interesting. I know that Gotta Get Lucky is very strongly opposed to Nasus in terms of his existence and not getting banned out by things. Whenever you bring up Nasus, you will hear a dissertation about how he should be banned out.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he really put some love and crafting into that research paper that he's writing.
Yeah, so this just for the tilt potential alone, I think is a good pick. But of course, Nasus being just a strong character, one of my personal favorites, just a really good split pushing presence, really good timer for your team as well, saying, hey, if we get to late game at any point, you guys are in trouble.
And they do need that late game insurance. Caitlyn will eventually start to fall off, and neither Karma nor Rek'Sai are going to bring that super late game damage. So they need something. So that's actually a very intelligent pick out of Team White Wolf.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Tristana being such a huge late game threat. It'll also be interesting to see, because the thing about Tristana, of course, is that she does have her ability to jump away from danger. So Nasus's slow may not be the best way to lock her down. There are a couple of good CC options there on White Wolf, but definitely not as many as we had last game.
Yeah, exactly. And the Tristana even has her all to this Tristana is going to be a much safer pick than the Lucian. So
Definitely be able to get the Leona off of her, able to get the Rek'Sai off of her, able to get the Nasus off of her. So definitely able to get a lot of that separation that ADCs so desperately want, especially to help the Vel'Koz out as well. Because Vel'Koz, of course, is a really strong character, but only if you're able to keep him in the backline as artillery rather than being in the mix-up against characters that can gap close.
yeah, exactly. But the Vel'Koz can shred tanks, so it's another very viable late game
Oh, for sure.
damage source. So I I don't know. I would say that Team Take the Lantern's got the better very late game
Oh,
team
sure.
fighting comp,
Yeah, definitely. It's
but
just the threat of the Nasus being able to eat anyone and everyone at some point.
exactly,
Get a
exactly.
2 hour game with a Nasus, and he's just going to one shot the towers himself. He doesn't doesn't need another team.
Yeah, yeah. Well, after 2 hours, there's your delete button. But one thing to point out is that there isn't really a big delete button in this game,
Hmm.
or the only real burst damage is coming out of Vel'Koz. So this is definitely a buff your ADC kind of team fight comp out of both teams.
And it's also interesting to note again, just talking about the CC again. It's it's not as hard of CC. I would say there's a lot of slows coming out of White Wolf, but I think that Take the Lantern just has a lot in the CC department for this particular game. We've got three really good ults for it. Vel'Koz has his knockups and slows as well. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to secure that. And once again, yeah, a Nasus may be able to one-shot you, but he has to actually be able to get an attack off first.
Yeah, he's got to get into auto range, right?
Right.
And a little bit of a shout out to our team White Wolf. If I saw that team comp, it wouldn't be like, oh no, I don't have any tools to work with, right? If I
Uh-huh.
was on it, so they can engage, they'll be fine. But if they miss one or two, that's it. Their kit's expended. Where
Hmm. Yeah.
team
So
take.
we'll definitely see if Take the Lantern can bring it back. Because I mean they showed a lot of good swing potential in the previous game. This comp is similar, one or two little differences, not as big of a stun as the Vagar had, but just a lot of good options still, I think, and it'll be good to see how they're able to coordinate those together as we move into our second game of this particular set.
And everyone loves a good underdog story, right? Like I'm really hoping that Team Take the Lantern has something up their sleeve to show us. But it was such a close game that they might just win on their own right. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I
Sorry,
mean,
go ahead.
I was going to say this definitely isn't something that it's a situation where you feel like Take the Lantern, just came back from a crushing defeat because they did relatively well staying in that game. So as long as they keep that in mind, don't lose too much heart, and don't let themselves get triggered too much by the existence of Nasus, we should be in a good spot.
Exactly. And I think a big portion of the last game came down to neutral objective control. So if I had any advice to give to Team Take the Lantern, I would say design your early game plays around those neutral objectives.
Yeah, I'm sure that dragon, the three Infernal Drakes, there's no question they did do work for White Wolf.
On the topic of drakes, oh, never mind. We've got a bit of an invade coming here. They got their warden god out.
Yeah, really. That'll show them. That's a gold lead for you right there.
All right, Team Take the Lantern takes the lead. But
Yeah, let's just take a look at the gold score here. Oh my god, we got a 10 gold advantage here on Vel'Koz, guys. Look for that to matter later.
yeah, exactly. Anyways, on the topic of drakes, the first drake that we'll be spying in game is the Ocean Drake. So another good early game drake, but looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for those triple infernals if we're gonna get that today.
And I mean, the Ocean Drake, I think, will definitely help set the tone for this game as well, because like you said, this is might be a little bit more of an ADC focused comp, and with the ranged characters in particular, artillery characters like Vel'Koz, like Ocean, because they can hang in the back line, not get attacked as much, and manage to heal back up really quickly.
Yep, pretty much everyone likes Ocean Drake in this game. Actually, we've got our heavy mana users, we've got our tanks who are just taking incidental damage. Ocean Drake is going to help pretty much anyone out here.
Yeah, I'd especially look to see if White Wolf manages to get it, because if they do, then that Nasus is just going to be able to stay in lane even more and just manage to farm that Q up to an amazing degree. But
So, Kinos, something I've been meaning to bring up is, and we sort of touched on it earlier about Team Take the Lantern's mentality. They just lost a super close game. That can be kind of a bit of a rough experience. But another thing that I want to bring up is that they just lost a somewhat long game, and Team Take the Lantern in the last series, last week's series, lost two extremely long games that were very close, and I gotta wonder what they're feeling and what they're thinking about getting into another long game, because they haven't been working out for them. And so what I'm wondering is, do you think that they like the late game and they're happy getting into that team fight comp, or do you think that they're going to try to get an early lead and wrap this game up before the mid game?
well, I mean, Take the Lantern has shown in the past that they are able to get those early leads, and then it's just a question of hanging on to them. Once this Malphite battle is done up here, we got Rek'Sai kind of coming in, getting a couple of knockups, but of course the natural tankiness of the characters is to their advantage. So Sejuani's in here. I'm not sure it's the fight they want, though, and it does seem like they're just establishing presence and backing off. Vel'Koz and Karma are also kind of fighting in the mid lane. Vel'Koz getting the worst of that exchange. But I mean, going back to your question, I think it's a question of just what kind of mindset you want to be in terms of priorities. Take the Lantern is seems to be a very aggressive team in certain fights. We've seen with the Nami sticking around far longer than some might think she should, with the Kennen just diving on in with his crazy ults, and the taunting laughter down there in the bot lane from Tilted Snorlax. But I think it's just It's all a question of, not trying to think so much about game to game and just being in the moment. You don't want to feel as though certain phases of the game aren't working out for you, because if you get in that mindset, that's a corrupting mindset, and you'll just stay there. So I would say that I would hope, at least, take the Lanterns just trying to take it game by game, trying to focus on what didn't work last time and try to make it work for them this time.
Uh, Great points. And in fact, and my personal thoughts on this are, I see team take the lantern, and like you said, they're very aggressive, but they double down. They don't back away from any fight. I have a feeling that their mentality is that they don't mind if it goes to late game, because they're gonna take the fight to the enemy team.
Sejuani's being really sneaky here. We're gonna see they're gonna try to bait them into the Sejuani, but it doesn't seem like they're falling for it. I don't know if it was spied out or if, I mean, it seems as though the creep wave just is working against them here. And
yeah, exactly. It's just sort of pushing, and actually Rek'Sai was even in the neck of the woods, so yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Rek'Sai is pretty low, so we'll see how that goes.
He's going for another one.
Yeah, go.
Does he have it?
He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it.
We're fine. Everybody stop panicking. It's gonna be fun.
He knows his damage.
Yeah.
Master of the champion.
all you White Wolf fans just need to calm down and stop worrying. It's all gonna be fine. All right, so pretty similar to what we saw in the beginning of the previous game. Everyone's just being relatively, some trades here and there, but no one has really overly committed to too much damage except for that exchange in the top lane. It looks as though they want some sort of engage down here bot, though, so we'll see if that works out. Early 6 there on Gotta Get Lucky's Malphite. Maybe that'll work out, but he's all alone up there and doesn't deal that much damage yet, so he probably won't be able to take out the Nasus by himself.
Nasus puts out a good amount of damage. It's interesting how close this game is compared to the last one. Ooh, great bubble out of...
Great bubble. Tristan's going in for it, but doesn't manage to get it out. Sejuani might be trying something a little cheeky here. She's sneaking around the backside. They could be going for a dive. They do have the minions for it, but this is so clearly spotted out by a great ward placement there by White Wolf that they're just going to go back. And a flash for it, burning the flash of the ADC as well. Rek'Sai's coming in at full health. But
oh no.
Oh, and here we go. Gonna see how this gets out. Knock up there on Sejuani. Sejuani goes down first blood. Nami is in a lot of trouble too. Flash burn to try to lock her down. 2 flashes. Sword's gonna come out of Leona any second now. She's got the stun for it. Another stun there, and a good try to heal by the Nami, but Nami goes down as well, and they want more, but Vel'Koz does come in to remind everyone there's a mid lane here. Great job by the Malphite, teleporting into the backside there, and they're securing 2 kills of their own. Looks like he wants to get more, but it's probably not going to happen.
And suddenly there was a Malphite. To make matters worse, almost everyone on Team White Wolf had already used their flash, so there was no reactive flash that was even available. That was a fantastic teleport and a fantastic flank coming out. I gotta get lucky for yet another one.
Yeah, that was really good awareness. Something you love to see out of your top laners, particularly when they have such hard CC abilities like Malphite to just come in and just completely mix up the engage.
Exactly. He flew in and wrapped up those kills. Another very long team fight, just in terms of map travel. Very fun to watch.
Yeah, map travel and just in terms of duration as well. Because it just swung back and forth like that, going in trying to secure it, and then the Rek'Sai coming in to loop it back off, and then 2 kills, and you think it's over, and then suddenly there's a Malphite, and suddenly we got a 2-0 Vel'Koz, who hasn't gone back yet though, so that gold is still kind of rotting in his bank.
He must have heard, yeah.
Yeah, he must have. Got the stream open on another window. It's fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Getting advice about 30 seconds later than it was spoken, but it could still help.
Yeah, and for anyone who's not aware, there's a 3-minute delay, so he's not actually doing that.
You're ruining the joke, Truffle. God.
Well, I didn't want anyone thinking that there was some cheating going on.
It's okay. Maybe he needed to go back when he was hearing me say it anyway, to the 3 minutes into the future.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly.
It's okay. I've got our got one of our
uh,
bosses saying it's against the rules. Just a reminder.
oh,
Nasus is about to
top
go
lane.
down though. So really good job locking down that Nasus. Sejuani probably wants to get out of there though before she ends up dropping another kill. Malphite going in is applying some presence though. Malphite is at full health and Rek'Sai is not. This Malphite really cares nothing about any of your damage, Karma. And they take the Rek'Sai out as well. Big swing here for Take the Lantern up 4-2. And the Vel'Koz once again showing his presence. Flash burned. Little bit risky. Nasus coming back in. Trying to get that out. And the Malphite manages to burst out of there just in time. Hopefully going back rather than trying to return to lane.
Yeah, exactly. But even got the teleport out right. I don't know if you would have teleported in, but
yeah, Nasus was, Nasus' teleport in there might have been a little too aggressive, but if the Malphite hadn't managed to get out of there, that would have been really good. Great stun there by Leona, and good counter ult there by the Nami to get the Tristana out of there. They're trying to turn on him, but Caitlyn keeps him honest with a good Q.
Yep, great trade bot lane. One thing about that team fight up in top that I want to call out, because I saw the interaction and it was great, was when Rek'Sai was trying to tunnel away and engage and secure the. Oh,
Vel'Koz is in a lot of trouble. Tried to blow Ghost to get out of there. Good attempt on the knockup. Almost made it work, but just a really out of position mid laner there, and that's going to probably lead to a Drake there for White Wolf.
Flash gets forced out in top lane. I don't know if they're going to dive this.
Looks like they are diving it. Nasus goes down again, and Get Lucky gets out with 39 hit points. Sorry that wasn't the record there, Get Lucky, but better luck next time.
Yeah, you'll have to try harder.
Yeah, try hard to not die next time.
Interesting, great fights across the board. Team White Wolf does secure another objective, another neutral objective, but they are at a gold deficit this time. So not everything is looking bad for Team Take the Lantern.
Yeah, and if you look at the gold distribution, Caitlyn's got a pretty big gold lead on the Tristana, about 700. I mean, obviously that's not insurmountable by any means, but just pretty notable as you're getting into these back and forth exchanges in the bot lane. But of course, then the Malphite's got a 1,000 gold lead on the Nasus, so it's all relative.
Oh, bubble under turret, flash forward, and an ult.
Really good ult trying to get on there, but now the little turn there. We've been seeing these back and forths really well by both teams in the bot lane as both ADCs try to jockey for position.
I love that Rocket Zavatos went back to the fountain, got healed, came back to lane, and his welcome present was a bunch of damage to the face. Ult coming out of Nami.
Oh, good flash by the Caitlyn to get out of that bubble. Flash from the Leona as well, but it doesn't seem like it's going to help. She gets taken off, and the Caitlyn might be in trouble too, doing a quick turn there, and manages to get out. Karma coming in to help. Vel'Koz looks like he may be trying to intercept the Karma. They also seem to be thinking of dive in the Caitlyn, or maybe they just want the tower. Dive in the Caitlyn. Sejuani really using her natural tankiness. Flash by Tristana. They may not... Nope. Excellent job with the jump there by Tristana, and I'm sure people that have died to similar Tristana plays are now violently shaking.
Yeah, exactly. I also appreciate how Tristana just waited long enough for you to build up some suspense, and then secure the kill.
Yeah.
Also, there goes that 700 gold lead. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's check it out. Yeah, Tristana is now aggressively in the lead. Now 2-0-1. Up by actually 700 gold, so just a 1,400 gold swing there.
Yeah, right, massive game changer. No, but it's nice to have. For
right,
sure.
Definitely nice to have. We're still somewhat early though. Now that one tower's down, a little more rotation is going to go on. Karma's trying to come up to help the Nasus here. Nasus has been in a lot of trouble all game. Even though he's up on CS, he's down 3 kills. But here comes the Karma, getting some good damage out with that Q. Nasus is at 192 stacks. Should be able to lock this down, and he does with his Q, I believe. So that gave him a couple more stacks, yeah.
Yep, and even shut down gold onto this Nasus. Team Take the Lantern has been doing a great job of keeping this Nasus behind, but this is the sort of thing that lets him begin scaling and makes him and starts to make him into a threat.
Yeah, definitely. They have been doing a really good job on that Nasus, and it's nice to see that White Wolf Gaming is finally is getting the Nasus a little more support. You know, because like we said, Nasus is going to be their top dog in the late game.
Top dog. Oh, that's bad. But
Well, you know, Sigtao isn't here yet, so someone's got to make the jokes.
right. Oh, that's great. That's great.
All right, looks like Rek'Sai might be trying something a little bit sneaky here, but both the bot laners have gone back. So the lane is, it looks like maybe even a little bit of a lane switch going on here. Malphite heading into the bot lane, and Take the Lantern's bot lane is heading up top.
I actually really like this out of Team Take the Lantern because it's just going to further make that Nasus's life miserable, which is really the goal for Team Take the Lantern. Sorry, Prowler.
Yeah, definitely. And Sejuani making a big play there, closing in. Tristana makes the move up as well, and a lot of damage coming out of that Tristana. Nami steals the kill, though, so I'm sure that's a little bit disappointing for her.
I'm sure that's calculated, and I'm sure that Tilted Snorlax wanted to throw that ult out and planned it out like 10 seconds in advance.
Sure, definitely. Malphite coming in, could get a big ult here, and does get an ult out there on the Caitlyn. Really good job there by the Vel'Koz, doing a lot of damage there. Tries some geometry tricks, but doesn't manage to get it off. And looks like Caitlyn's going to manage to get away. Leona may not be so lucky, though. Rek'Sai coming and trying to give her some help, but Leona does go down.
That bubble into Vel'Koz artillery with the Q was just a little bit dirty.
Yeah, it was really great to see. Just seeing that Vel'Koz get those stacks off is always a really exciting thing. And it looks like they're going for Baron's little brother.
Exactly, and let's see if Team White Wolf lets them have it, but this would be a great neutral objective to control.
Yeah, it's going to be close. There is no vision on this, so White Wolf doesn't know they're doing this. It looks like they won't be in any position to stop it. Now they just need to decide who gets it. It looks like they're giving it to the Sejuani.
Which makes it easy to put in whatever lane is appropriate.
Yeah, definitely. Though with all the lane swaps going on, you know, what is the right lane anymore, right?
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the lanes, or possibly the right lane to put the Rift Herald on, Turret First Blood did get secured by Team Take the Lantern in that bottom turret a while ago, so the options for spots to put that Rift Herald are a little bit limited to this top lane or maybe mid.
Yeah. We've got a huge rotation going on right now. We got 4 people coming up top to try to close in on this Tristana, who is 2-0-3. But it looks as though they saw it coming through some good ward placement and just decided to back off.
Excellent play here to put that in mid and run straight down mid after that great rotation. Whoever suggested that they do that is a complete genius.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how the Rift Herald does. Looks like they'll definitely get mid turret, and we'll see if they'll be able to get more. Looks like they're happy just dropping that off, getting that free turret going back. Flash burn by Leona, and meanwhile top lane, they end up taking out several kills going down there. Rek'Sai might be able to finish securing this up here as well. Rift Herald, meanwhile, is also doing a lot of work, so a lot of action going on here in 2 separate lanes. Looks as though, I would say that Take the Lantern probably got out ahead of that just because they got the turret as well. What would you think?
I'd say probably got out ahead. They did lose an extra kill if I was keeping track of it right. Huge shutdown by Nasus and this Rek'Sai on the bot lane from Team Take the Lantern, but all in all, I think I liked the play coming out of Team Take the Lantern more, especially including the Malphite's ult flank, which was excellent and forced up.
Yep. Losing a turret in the mid lane there for Take the Lantern. They're very slowly getting a Drake there for them. That'd be a Cloud Drake. So once again, being able to get a little better into position there with those abilities. Big engagement going down on here bot lane, or mid lane though. We'll see if they really want it or not. They do have the minion wave right here, so they could get some good poke off with that Caitlyn. Good Nasus Q could whack it as well. Nasus almost at 300 stacks.
Tristana gets out safely from that big engage. but Team White Wolf does a great job of turning that play around and continuing to score more advantages as a result of Team Take the Lanterns.
Looks like they might be trying to lure him into a trap here, though. Nasus' ult did just end, so he's not going to have that little bit of a power spike. So we'll see how that works for him. Nasus is kind of lying in wait. Throws down a bit of an AoE there with his E. And it doesn't seem like Take the Lantern wants this, but it looks like Malphite does. Malphite going in on the Rex side, most likely going to get taken out, though. A little bit of an overcommitment there.
Yep, a little too deep, a little bit too far. Oh well, though, gotta get luckies. Play and flanks have been on point up to this point. They've been immaculate, actually. So I suppose we can.
We got a full team rotation in the bot lane. Let's see how Take the Lantern addresses this. White Wolf getting really aggressive now that they've managed to get a little bit of advantage after they took out Rocket's Zapdos and Snorlax. Though Karma gets really far forward here, has to blur her flash. Relatively good ult, but doesn't really have any sort of follow-up out of the Nami.
You know, sometimes getting a flash out of it is just the best you can do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Team White Wolves definitely has the momentum currently. Team Take the Lantern just needs to reset the fights a little bit. Is only a 1k gold differential, so this is a very close game. Definitely closer than we were in our previous game at this point.
Yeah, just looking at the map though, what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing that Take the Lantern is really lacking in the vision department. Almost all their wards are concentrated in their own right-hand side jungle. And they have very little, they have nothing on Baron, they have very little on the opposing jungle and or Dragon.
Yeah, definitely need to start establishing some of that visual control, especially now that Baron's up. They were just trying to stem the bleeding, I think, there for a while. Team White Wolf had some great rotations.
Yeah, Karma's getting a lot of damage off on that Malphite. Malphite, who's been building all armor and no magic resist, so is especially susceptible to Karma in this instance. We'll see if he makes any adjustments for that as the game goes on.
Nasus goes back to split push. I wonder how many stacks he has.
He's currently at 363.
So he's starting to come online, so this Nasus is going to be a bit of a threat now.
Yeah, we got another possible engagement about to happen here. Rek'Sai manages to steal that blue buff that Take the Lantern was trying to get. Malphite's going in really deep again. Does manage to deal a lot of damage to that Karma, but I don't think he'll be able to secure it. Blew his flash and his ult to get it, and is now going to get taken out again.
Oh no, that chases very far, does a ton of damage, but Caitlyn is able to get healed up immensely. Does use her summoner heal, but also just receives a ton of healing as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Karma is just really good at closing stuff out can't be ignored. Vel'Koz also blows his ult, or his flash to get out of there. Looks like they managed to pick up the Nasus. Vel'Koz wasn't really sure where to go with that ult, but does manage to pick up the Rek'Sai as well. Might be able to get more. We'll have to see. Yes, they do manage to get more. Get the flash out as well. Teleport coming in from the Malphite. Getting a little bit of that speed boost going in there. Going to come around on this Caitlyn. Caitlyn wisely throws a trap down, but Caitlyn doesn't really have anywhere to go right now unless she's going to do some sweet jukes on them. Malphite is collapsing really hardcore. Another trap thrown down. Malphite does walk on that one. Tristana. Oh. Great job.
Holy cow! Another one of these massive team fights going from one side of the map to the other and back again. A couple of shoutouts there of plays that I thought were fantastic was Twisted Snorlax engaged forward on the Nasus, who is a little bit out of position, and ulted backwards to buy time for her team. I think that was absolutely critical in that last play.
Looks like Malphite sacrificing himself to get that turret. Not sure I agree with that choice. Especially because it may cost Vel'Koz as well. Vel'Koz has got to get that knockup right now. Nope. Manages to create enough distance. Vel'Koz is
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Vel'Koz is really good at running away.
Yes.
So, you know, as long as he's got at least one of his slows or knockups up, you should not be able to chase him, especially if he ends up going the route and getting, like, the Crystal Scepter.
Exactly. I agreed with you. I thought Vel'Koz was in a world of trouble. And that he needed to flash, but in reality, he just needed to calmly walk away.
Yeah, Sejuani gets a really good ult there, takes out the Rek'Sai. Karma as well. Karma as well, perhaps? Nope. Karma gets to use her natural speed abilities and get out of there.
She does have to blow Summoner Cleanse, though, so they get a kill and a Summoner out of that, so definitely worth it for the cost of 2 ults in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's really interesting watching some of these 1 or 2 champion ganks or catches on the tank characters. Because depending which 2 champions end up being the ones to catch them out in the jungle, you just have these scenarios where the tank just calmly walks back to their team.
Right. Just, well, that was a mistake. Oh,
Yep.
big exchange going up in top lane.
Yeah, Malphite Nasus slapping about. Nasus has come online. There is no question about that now. Sitting at 441 stacks, probably more now.
+3.
Yep, 447 now. That's a big deal with that Nasus. So they've got to find an answer to that soon, or at least stop engaging at 1v1. Leona, a lot of really good movement coming out there. Leona probably going to get away here. Caitlyn may not, though. Caitlyn goes down thanks to some great awareness there by the Vel'Koz to rotate his ult.
What a roller coaster of a team fight and team fights over the last couple of minutes.
Sejuani going in, gets that flash off the Karma. May still be able to get, also gets a flash off the Leona. Ult does manage to land, 2 ults manage to land. Should be able to get the Leona out of this, maybe more. Do get the Leona. Rek'Sai's pretty low. Tristana, oh!
Rek'Sai almost is able to trade one back, but
yeah, that actually juked the hell out of me. I didn't know where he went for a second there.
Me too. I was like, oh, he's dead. He's dead. He was almost dead, right?
Right.
But let's stop and talk about it, right? Because Team Take the Lantern again has a fantastic mid game coming out, and they lost all momentum, and they were able to turn it around, and now they have a 4K gold lead off of some great team fights, even though Nasus is online, even though Nasus is pushing.
Yeah, I think a lot of that does have to do with the fact that Nasus hasn't been in those many team fights yet, especially not since he's come online. Obviously, he has been a dangerous presence throughout the game with his Q scaling, but now his Q is almost at 500 stacks, and once he's actually a little more involved and less in the split pushing, this could go really badly for Take the Lantern, who I'm still not convinced has an answer to this Nasus.
I think the answer is to kill everyone else and then run away.
Well,
But
yeah, well, we'll see. Nasus is here. Vel'Koz could be in a lot of trouble. Nasus goes the other way, choosing to go for the tank instead. Gets a big slow on that Sejuani. Sejuani losing a lot of health. Huge ultimate coming out of the Nami. Good ult coming from the Vel'Koz as well. Loses about half of his health from the Nasus and just gets taken out. Tristana's really trying her best, but there's a lot of meat there, and she's not dealing quite enough damage to get through it all quick enough. It is worth noting that Malphite is pushing bot while this is going on. He does have his teleport up, so if things get really bad, he can teleport in, but he just snags that turret and may try to go for more. Nasus was planning on going back, but seems to have changed his mind. Nope, he is now teleporting there, so Malphite will get out.
force out the teleport, though. So basically, Team Take the Lantern trades a champion death for a turret and a teleport. It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they did do that.
Flank teleport coming in. I gotta get lucky.
Gotta get lucky. Does hit that Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is one of the characters that Malphite can still definitely reliably solo here. Blows the ult to get it, and they're probably going to lock him down, and they do. Karma's there, too. A bubble could make a lot happen there, and it gets the Caitlyn, but they have no vision on it. Or at least no one in position to make a move with it.
Well, they do have vision on Baron, though, and are very happy to start hitting on it while Nasus split pushes, since he does not have that teleport. But let's see if...
Yeah, we'll see if they do it again. We've gotten a couple of... Oh, really intelligent use of the ult there, just to finalize the kill to make sure no one jumps in on it. Really good job there by the Nami, even if she managed to get picked off.
Definitely a really intelligent play. I also like the Caitlyn ult to interrupt.
Oh, the Vel'Koz!
Oh! The cow, that is our delete button. It is online. Nasus, beware.
Yeah, that was an amazing pickup there, using the ward and his Q to slow him down, then hitting him with that fully charged R. That was some really good job by the Vel'Koz, who is now 5, 2, and 6.
Yeah, take a look at his items too. I think he's working towards his MR shred, so NASA's going to be a lot less tankier. The next item that Vel'Koz is able to buy.
Yeah, most definitely. And it looks like Nasus is rotating up there to the Malphite. Malphite hopefully going to get this one tower and run for his life.
Yeah, you need to go.
And he does manage to get out of there. A little close though. Fortunately, he did think to rely on the minions to finish the turret off rather than trying to do it himself.
Yeah, exactly. Split pushing both before the last team fight and to grab this top lane. Really intelligent out of Malphite. He's not the... Ooh, ult's coming out of...
Really interesting use of the ult there. I'm not sure I agree with it. Manages to avoid the Leona ult. Nami does a great job separating, and they may be able to get out of there. That was really close. There were a couple of missed opportunities there from White Wolf.
Yeah, that was that was close.
Rek'Sai may be in a lot of trouble here. Burns the flash just to make sure he's okay.
Some great trading coming out of Team Take the Lantern.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that once again, the Nasus doesn't have teleport. So Nasus has to, rather than continuing his Q farm, which is worth mentioning, is now at 600.
Oh, great spiritual person catches out the Caitlyn. They dive under a turret. Sejuani has turret aggro and is hanging on to turret aggro.
Nasus is online. Here we go. Let's see what he can make happen. A little bit of speed boost there. Getting some really strong Qs off. Good ult there by the Vel'Koz, focusing entirely on the Nasus, who decides to flash out. Getting a little bit of CC on him, though. Looks like he's backing off and does manage to get taken out. Just some, like you said, pick off the rest of his team, and Nasus isn't quite big enough to do it all on his own yet.
Right, exactly. A simple strategy, right? That's all you gotta do. Whoop.
Oh, Rek'Sai, really good. Try to jump in there, but to no avail. Caitlyn is up in 2 seconds, though, so may be able to dissuade this. We will have to see. It's going to come down to the wire, I think. They're really looking for it. Good ult there by the Leona. Second inhibitor turret does go down, though. Caitlyn is cleaning up, but their inhibitor, their Nexus is relatively defenseless. Did I say inhibitor earlier? I must have.
It's all good. We know what you meant. Turrets are being blown up. Team fights are had. 3-person holds at the by the skin of their teeth come through. Team White Wolf is able to hold on for a reset and a chance to come back.
Yeah, I mean, really great gold lead, though, coming there out of Take the Lantern. It's nice to see them in this strong position. And getting that Ocean Drake as well, so they'll have a very balanced set of Drake abilities going into this next fight.
Yeah, exactly. Got to catch them all, right? One of each.
Right.
Elder Drake is coming up, and it is the next Drake, so we're going to have these dual neutral objectives that need to be fought over to be considered if the game goes on for another 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, and it's interesting also just to see the difference between these two games without... I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume the Infernal Drake was doing a big deal last game. Caitlyn isn't having as much of an impact this game compared to the last one, with the lack of 1 or 2 Infernal Drakes helping boost her damage up. 4, 7, and 3 there versus 7, 1, and 10. Obviously, no game is exactly the same, but just for the sake of drawing some parallel differences between these two games. Another really...
We can gauge...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, another really good outcome out of the Leona.
But yeah, going back to your previous point about the Infernal Drakes, 24% more damage is just a lot. So, especially on your carries. So I'm sure that if Caitlyn had 3 Infernal Drakes, she'd be doing just as well this game as she was.
All right, nice. So a little bit of split pushes there. Good warning call out there for Take the Lantern. They should probably get out of there because it's a 4v3 and Malphite's in a lot of trouble. Yeah, looks like they are choosing to fall back. Leona could still get a grab here, but really good bubble.
Flank coming out of this Nasus.
Nasus is trying to flank, but gets flanked himself. Huge damage being done. Good ult there by the Malphite. Amazing job on the back line. Nasus trying to get in there, but he's got a pretty low health. May end up going down here when the rest of the team gets around to focusing him. A solid ace, and that should be game, I would think.
I would certainly hope they close it out. A fantastic, huge 5-for-0 team fight out of a Engage, teleport flank engage turned around on its head. Team take the lantern. Certainly looks like they're about to close out this game.
Yeah, and really good to see them do it too, especially after that last close game. Nice to see them come back and get a game for their own. So we're going to end this set 1-1. Both teams managing to lock out a game in very impressive fashion. Very exciting games, great team fight potential. What are you taking away from this set of games here, Trev?
I think these were two fantastic to watch games. I think they were two very close games until about the end. Team White Wolf wasn't able to take both wins. I laughed, I cried, I loved.
Yeah, it was really great to see, and we should be getting an interview with one of the players here in just a second.
Yep. In fact, I believe I know who that is. I think it's Tilted Snorlax, who was the Nami in both games.
All right, excellent. So looking forward to speaking with him once we get in here. I mean, the Nami in particular, because that was such a presence in both the games. Really great Q traps, really good ults. Really a joy to watch play, and keeping the carries alive for as long as she did was great too.
Yeah, honestly, she played just incredibly out of her mind. Just had some fantastic sustain. That's going on the whole time, keeping Tristana and the Lucian in lane to deal with the poke and harass that was coming out, and the engagement by Leona. There were some great engages, some great disengages.
All right, we're just gonna jump right over there right now. So here we go. Hey,
Hey, Tilted Snorlax, how's it
Hey,
going?
what's up? Good, good.
yeah, great games.
Oh, that was fun.
Amazing jobs. You're really crushing it with those bubbles and those ultimates. Really good job.
Yeah, I felt good.
Yeah.
I was singing your praises the whole game. I loved your ultimates, and your bubbles were on point. Your healing was there. What do you think your single best ultimate was?
Oh geez, probably when I ulted up under tower and nothing happened from it. I was like, oh, I think I can get him. Oh, definitely nothing is happening here.
So, something that we were wondering from the very start of the game, obviously, with the jungle substitution coming in, how did your team kind of change their play style based on that?
Oh, so the whole team hasn't played with this guy before, but he was very willing and he joined like our chat. I could play whatever, so we kind of just, he's like, okay, let's do something tanky, CC, and it kind of just worked out really well. It's funny because the second ban, they didn't ban Sejuani, and we had no idea that he was going to pick it, so if it had been like the same bands again, maybe we wouldn't have come that close, or I don't know.
Yeah, that was something that we were also talking quite a lot about, was just how different the bans were. Obviously, there weren't huge changes, but they did let both the Kennen and the Sejuani through, and of course, the Sejuani through both games. And her stuns, of course, made a great impact, especially when comboed with yours.
Yeah, I love the engage. That's part of our problem. When like in the first game, we were all trying to engage maybe a little too much and ended up getting a little disjointed.
Yeah, definitely got to get lucky was doing a lot of that engage with the Malphite. Got him in trouble a few times, but seemed to work out for you guys.
Yeah.
Some,
And actually,
oh,
that sorry, Kinos.
okay.
Actually, that first game, it brings up a great point because your team was 5 or 6 thousand gold behind pretty early in the game, like really early in the game, and you were able to come back. You were able to tie it up.
Yeah, that team comp is so good.
Yeah, exactly. And the teleport flanks were there, and it was great. A bit of a heartbreaker that you ended up losing. But
And we
Something.
found our flow. We found our what we were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, definitely. Something else that I was wondering about just really quickly here. You guys were originally picking a Lulu in the first game and then decided to go with the Nami once the jungle changed. Was that just you deciding you'd rather play the Nami, or was there a
It
choice?
was for us. It was a strategy thing. Since we saw the Caitlyn Leona, we wanted more sustain in the lane.
Hmm.
So like the heals, my ADC was like, "Oh, you should get some healing going on for this
Okay.
this bot lane," because we knew it was gonna be like a farm lane.
Okay. All right, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Then using a bit of the information you had from the last minute switch there to
Yeah.
make some adjustments. Good call with that.
Mhm. Good stuff.
All right,
Perfect.
yeah, excellent.
Anything? I'm sorry, Keenan. I was going to ask you if there was anything that you wanted to say.
Oh no, just GG to the other team.
Yeah, those are some really great games, and I'm hoping the rest of the nights is good too. Thanks for joining us, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for casting.
Most definitely. Talk to you
It
later.
was a blast.
All right. Well, that will do it for our first set of games here. Coming up, we've got Northern Storm versus Hardcore Campers. I will not be casting that game, but I'll be coming back to you guys in set three. So look forward to seeing you there. You get the last word, Truffle. What do you want to throw out there?
I'm looking forward to set 3 quite a lot because I will be playing in it, and I'll be playing in mid lane against my good friend Ace, who I've played with many games. So it should be a blast.
All right, sounds good. See you all then. Stay tuned for set number two after this short break.